Hey, this is Rob. I am originally the co-founder of Scripto. Now, I work as a game developer primarily. But this is a little video to show how I used Scripto to write and narrative design this game, Tiebreakers, that you see in front of you, and it's just going to cover a couple of maybe non-conventional uses of the tool, but ones that are very useful for game design, specifically around generative text through tracery, in this case, context-free grammars, and then also through a branching system of non-linear sort of story-lit selection that the game uses under the hood. So we get a lot of questions about like generative text and branching and stuff. And having kind of used it for my own version of that, I thought I would just show rather than tell how it works, and let that be a starting point for any questions that you might have. So this is Tide Breakers. Incidentally, it's a speak council simulator where people are voting. It's actually meant for in person. This is not about my game. It's about Scripto, but you are faced with a series of choices. Like this one, it sort of does like a scenario readout week by week. Every one of these characters is controlled by one or more even players, and then when it's time, they will make a choice together, etc., etc., and there will be um loose scenarios that come up basically as a result of the choices that are made. So the nonlinearity in this game is about the choices that the council makes and how those filter into what happens next. In this case, this is a generative scenario where a new character is being made into the chair of the body. Note that this 37 degrees here, we're going to get to that in 1 second. And this is a next scenario, which just kind of goes in order, and it has a picker, and the picker works behind the scenes with a flag system that's also in Scripto. I'm going to show that to you in a second. I just want you to sort of see what it looks like in practice before we change it. This is another choice we can go ahead and make. Uh, that's how the game works. We can end it for now, and I can show you how it looks in Scripto. So these are the scenarios that are written. They have a sort of special format. Here's the one that you saw right at the beginning, where it asks, "Are you ready to work together?" And this was a format that I developed over the course of making the game. Basically, for every scenario in the game, I knew it was going to have this main text and this meta text and this text for later in the game, and I was able to adapt Scripto to that information architecture and contain the entirety of the script in this kind of specially formatted, almost like a screenplay, where the block types both have meaning for me as a writer, like I can see contextually what part of the scenario I'm writing based on how it looks. And behind the scenes, when I'm parsing this through our API, I can pull the block type in addition to the block itself, and I can interpret that in terms of what it means downstream for my engine. So in this case, if I wanted to just add installed by your beautiful and perfect governor. And so I've changed that scenario in my working document in Scripto. I can run a script on my end to go into that document, pull everything out through the API, and update the text to be what I said there, so that when I go back and show the game, when the game begins, this first scenario readout will immediately contain what I changed. So I mentioned that. So that's one thing, and then behind the scenes, when you make a vote, it's you're setting a flag. This tutorial done flag, and then other scenarios can basically use that as you can either set it as a choice, or it can be a requirement of a future scenario, and you can build chains of requirements. Like, obviously, you don't have to work this way. This is just an example of a nonlinear system that is implemented in Scripto and then also implemented by an engine. I should say that one of the benefits of working in a defined format like this is that when I create, a file, or when I commit changes, I can also run a new process to create a new script in Scripto that, say, adopts my scenario structure, creates like templates for new content, and pre-populates it with, in this instance, requirements of flags that are not otherwise used in the script. So my loose ends in the system, like things that I've written all the way up to but haven't extended any further. I can write a script that automatically explores that space, makes assumptions about it, and then creates sort of a new document for me to do my kind of like next round of work on. So the internal structure allows you to kind of reason about what you're doing and then push templates to the server in order to keep your production process moving forward. And you can adapt that to whatever system you're using. It's just that there's an API to make stuff like that happen when you run these scripts. So here in the game, there are also these little moments where the characters say things, like these little dialogue bubbles. Those are run by a context-free grammar system run through Tracery, which is also, at least if you've ever used it, the conventional way to edit it is in a JSON file. I find that a little uncomfortable. So what I did was similarly devised a micro format for Tracery grammars in Scripto. Set all of my little categories, or I forget what they're called in Tracery's, the main sort of like branches, and put it all into one document so they can all draw on each other. I actually have a task to do that 37 degrees that I mentioned. I was just showing this game in Europe, Berlin, and everyone was confused because all of my temperatures were in Fahrenheit instead of Celsius. So I added Celsius temperatures, and then I brought it back to America, and everyone was like, why are the temperatures so cold? So I actually do need to change it from Celsius temps back to temperatures. I can do that right there in my document. And then, with apologies to this Kai, I can run my grammar file and it will pull it all in. It will recompile the code in the background. This is just how we implemented it. But you will then see when we get to one of those scenarios where somebody becomes the chair, which will happen right now, it'll be back in Fahrenheit because we changed it. So that's just like a brief look. Obviously, like the branching system itself is something that we can absolutely like talk about. I think everybody in my experience sort of does it differently. So I'm very eager to hear what your version of it is. Similarly with the generative text, again, it's not all the same. But hopefully this provides a trailhead to enthusiasm where some of this resonates. And if you're in a development process where you're already kind of thinking to yourselves, like, what will our format be? What is the bucket that we're going to create for ourselves to fill for this game to be finished to our satisfaction? We've been a good thought partner for studios who are in that exact process, and we can set up Scripto for you to be exactly what you need it to be, for you and your whole team to work together on the project until it's done. So thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.